Harry Maguire's career is one that does not sit well with anyone. For someone who underperforms with close to zero skills, it is rather hard to believe that in 2018, the then manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had signed the defender for a world record fee of £80 million. While many of the fans and coaches were of the opinion that Maguire was a good defender, it was pretty hard finding people who thought he was anywhere near worth what was paid for him. Since the retirement of Sir Alex, Manchester United has struggled to return to the levels of success that the Scotsman brought to the club. Over the past decade, Manchester United has topped the net spend on transfer with a massive negative net spend of over £1 billion, spending £1.5 billion and only recuperating about £470 billion in the same period. And no player perfectly describes this terrible transfer policy than Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire is currently having one of the worst performing seasons of any defender in the history of the Premier League. He is failing as a defender, as a captain, and as a leader, with United suffering on all fronts on the pitch. One of Maguire's worst moments for the Red Devils came in the game that saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lose his job, the embarrassing 4-1 loss to Watford. While Watford was already 2-1 up, things had gotten worse for Maguire. He was too slow to react to the fact that Tom Cleverley, a former United player, had nipped the ball and taken it away from him. To try to win the ball back, Maguire lunged into a tackle that ended up seeing him get sent off. And things then took a real turn for the worse at Man United. As if things weren't terrible enough, Maguire was spotted having the time of his life in a restaurant the night after his team got battered by a relegation threatened side, as well as getting sent off. I mean, as the captain, he should always be trying to save face, especially considering the role he played in the loss, but that was clearly not his priority. Next was the Liverpool show, which was even worse, as the United team got battered 5-0 this season. Liverpool took advantage of United's terrible defense for the first goal as Maguire stepped up and left himself in no man's land, which only ended with Naby Keita having all the liberty he needed to score the easiest of goals. It was nothing short of a similar open defense story for the remaining 4 goals. This absolutely made no sense, because even with this terrible defense that the team had, all thanks to once again the most expensive central defender ever bought, the club still firmly believed that the investment into Maguire was worth it. Now, the question remains, are they not seeing what the whole world sees, or do they just choose to be blind to it? Regardless of the fact that Maguire had to be the worst thing that ever happened to the Red Devils on the pitch, the club continued to believe in him. Why? Well, our best guess is because of the commercial investment the club made into their skipper. The club had simply chosen to turn a blind eye because they are not willing to take a loss on their investment. And here's the confirmation. If you look across some of the largest fees paid for defenders in recent times, as soon as they are unable to perform accordingly, they are made to spend time away from the first team. Look at big names like Matthias de Ligt, Laporte, and even Manchester United's very own Raphael Varane. They have been left off their squads when they couldn't perform. So why is the case so different for Harry Maguire? The same player has gone through 3 different management teams, and not once did any of these managers think it was wise to drop the very underperforming player on account of his bad performances. Even at a point, there were 3 to 4 solid backup options that could have taken Maguire's place and done a lot better during that time, yet he remained as a starter. So what was really their reason? It definitely must have been a decision that was made and agreed on by people, or even someone at the highest level that could not be questioned. There are some speculations that even Maguire's own teammates had aired their grievances among themselves about how Maguire's performances just were not meeting the club's standards. If his own teammates could point this out, why was the club still keeping him? And considering the fact that Defender himself never made comments about these grievances, it only made it clear that he probably felt the same. But someone, somewhere, was keeping him there for commercial reasons. Whatever, or whoever it is, needs to have a rethink. Are they in it for the good of the team,
or for the monies in their pockets? Does someone need to take responsibility for all this and ask the right questions? Was it even possible for Harry Maguire to do more for his team? I think it needs to be understood that better decisions needed to be made both on and off the pitch. It is pretty obvious that the Manchester United central defender is overpriced. But you have to agree with me on one thing. Would he have done a lot better if the right decisions had been made around his transfer? Is Maguire to blame for the owner's mistakes? I believe that the potential embarrassment of a failed investment has shown where the real issues are. But what do I know? Do let us know in the comments below what you think. Alright guys, and that's all we have for you today. So for more exciting football and finance content, please be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next upload. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.